Now for what's trending in true crime, stunning new developments in the case of 3 Michigan children abandoned by their mother, police say, and left to fend for themselves for years. Look at this. We now got mom's mugshot. This is 34-year-old Kelli Bryant. She is the accused, waking up behind bars this morning, accused of 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, looking at life in prison if she is convicted. Officers found the children, siblings ages 15, 13, and 12, an older boy and 2 younger girls, when the landlord asked for a welfare check. Look at these pictures. So the landlord called attention to the police for the welfare check because Bryant stopped paying her rent in October.
The defendant instructed the kids that they were not to answer the door or leave the house. All 3 children expressed fear about what their mother's response would be if they left the home. Defendant concealed the children from family and friends and lied about who was caring for the kids and their whereabouts.
It's believed that the children had been living like that for 4 years. Can you imagine not being allowed to leave the house? The mother allegedly put fear in them, fear, if they would have left that house, of what would have happened to them. So now we're wondering, what's mom's defense going to be? Let's talk about it. Let's bring in our legal eagles. Still with me, attorneys John Phillips and Michael J. Brown. Want to welcome into the conversation private investigator, former law enforcement officer, and military serviceman Manuel Gomez. Manuel, let me start with you. Your reaction to this case, and what do you think the defense for mom may be at trial?
Well, you know, in this case, morally, there is plenty of responsibility to go around for how this happened. First of all, the system failed on so many levels. One of the levels that really disturbed me, in 2022, she went to court with her 4th baby's father, and she turned around and he was petitioning for visitation. She told in court that she cannot support herself, she can't support the kids, she's not capable. And at that point, they should have ordered a wellness check. Nothing was done. And besides that, okay, Board of Ed should have sent a truant officer. These kids were in school during the duration they lived at this residence. And the fact of the matter is, the Board of Ed dropped the ball. Nobody sent anybody. Now, the mother could say they were transferred to another school. But the fact of the matter is, you would have to transfer the educational records. Nothing was ever transferred. There's so many levels here. And I can't see an insanity defense on this case because she was paying the utilities, paying the rent. She knew exactly what she was doing. This woman was capable and culpable.
Oh.
There's no doubt that she's going to be found guilty.
Boom. Drop the mic right there. Capable and culpable. That ought to be the prosecutor's theme, Manuel. Thank you for that. Michael J. Brown, let me go to you next, please. What defense might this lady possibly have?
Obviously, the facts are very disturbing, Julie. The only thing that comes to mind is somebody like this with these set of facts. I certainly would want to get a psychiatrist, a psychologist involved. If there's any hint whatsoever of any type of mental disease, trauma, PTSD from maybe her upbringing or even her relationships, I don't know. But that's the initial thing that comes to my mind in terms of what I would want to explore. Really, that's the only thing that comes to mind.
Sure. No, but appreciate that, because everybody's asking, well, what in the world are we going to see from this woman after we understand, based on what law enforcement has said, that this was an abandonment, but she still kept eyes on them, forcing them to stay there. That's really, I think, what's most stunning. It's just like, okay, so there was power and control exerted on these kids, according to police. John Phillips, I know you got a lot of thoughts. Please.
And that's the sign of culpability and conscious decision to do this. One of the things said that she actually had Febreze delivered to the house with some garbage bags so that they could just, spray it to make it smell better, and that the little boy, like once or twice, wanted to go outside just to touch the grass. And as a father of a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old, if 4 hours go by, I miss them. If 4 days go by because I'm out of town in trial, I'm on the phone. I can't be away from them. 4 years, like there's a place in hell for that. Excuse my language. Like,
yes,
preach.
Say it, John.
This is awful. And just the squalor and knowing that it's not going to end with the criminal justice system, because these kids will be damaged for life. And kudos to the sheriff. I know they're raising money and clothes for these kids. If anybody out there has a clothing store, some teenage preteen clothes, like get in touch with the Oakland Sheriff's Office.
Yes.
It's awful.
Yes, no, it really is. You hope people see this. I know hearts are breaking all around the country with this news. I mean, just topping the headlines everywhere you look. People are talking about. I've been getting so many calls and messages about this one. This is a bad case, and thank you for that, John. Let's turn now to another aspect of it, and that pertains to where the kids will live next. So at this very moment, they're in the care of relatives, and according to the sheriff, they didn't know what was even happening. Take a look.
Family is asking, apparently, some of the folks that are now involved with the kids that didn't know, that's another question we've asked, they didn't know what was going on with the kids. They had been told by her that somebody else was babysitting the children or other kinds of things. So they were unaware what was happening so far, according to our investigation.
So what about other people who maybe knew something? Manuel Gomez, I want to go to you on this one. Red flags maybe should have been spotted. What do you think?
Well, you know what? It's correct when it calls about the family. It's been 5 years, almost 5 years those kids were missing. How do you not say, where are your children? And if you're saying, well, they're visiting, they're being taken care of by somebody else, you don't go to see them? Come on. What kind of family is that? Just like my colleague said, if my kid is missing for 4 hours, I miss them. 4 days, a day I miss them. The family didn't miss these kids. And the fact that they were put into the custody of the family is egregious. It is disgusting, because these kids need psychological help. Julie, they had a functional cell phone, and they were not able to call 911. You're telling me those kids don't need psychological help? That the family's going to provide psychological help, that did not look for them, that did not file a report? I'm sorry.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they need to go back to basics, learn the basic ways to live. They were deprived of soap, for crying out loud, and adequate food. John Phillips, to you next, please. Your thoughts on whether they should be with a family.
Well, again, it's the family that left them behind. And I saw something about the father being in jail and maybe coming out of jail. But the intensive treatment and also, taking it to another level, you're talking about a 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old girl. Guess what? Preteens, pubescent, I can't even imagine. They had no parenting, no guidance. This is something that a family would want to take them in. But then if you have other kids around, you've got to reprogram them for a while. And no child is a lost cause, and we're going to, I hope society gets this right and enforces this, but there's so much liability to go around. I don't know where you start.
No, exactly. And thank you for all of that. This is a great discussion. We're going to continue talking about this case as it progresses and as mom works her way through the criminal justice system. John Phillips, I know we got to say goodbye to you. Big thanks for being on the program every Thursday morning.